Okay, let's jump right into this. Today, we're looking at what has to be history's ultimate cold case. Seriously, this is a story that has completely baffled explorers, historians, and scientists for over 2 millennia. You guessed it, we are hunting for the Lost City of Atlantis. So the big question, is this purely a myth born out of ancient philosophy, or is there a genuine, sunken reality just waiting down there at the bottom of the ocean? I mean, for centuries, this very question has pushed adventurers to the absolute edges of the map. And in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into the actual evidence. Just think about the sheer stakes of this for a second. What if an entire, highly advanced civilization just disappeared in a single day? Just imagine it. A society at the absolute pinnacle of human achievement, bustling with incredible innovation, architectural marvels, unmatched power, literally vanishing in the blink of an eye. Right? It sounds exactly like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster. But the crazy thing is, for centuries, some of the most brilliant minds in history fully believed this wasn't just fiction. They thought this was a genuine historical event, a massive cataclysm that essentially hit the reset button on a global superpower. So what exactly are we talking about here? By definition, Atlantis was this legendary, incredibly advanced island civilization that vanished without a single trace. And honestly, the main reason this is still history's greatest mystery is the profound, almost frustrating lack of physical evidence. You have to ask yourself, how could a society so formidable leave absolutely nothing behind? It's like a giant puzzle where the most vital pieces are just missing. We've got no pottery shards, no sunken ruins we can definitively tie to its name, no stray swords washing up on a beach somewhere. Nothing. And it's captivated the world precisely because of that vast, echoing silence where a thriving empire supposedly used to be. All right, when you open up any cold case file, where do you start? You start with the primary witness. And for us, our sole original source is the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Around 360 BC, in his famous dialogues Timaeus and Critias, he introduced Atlantis to the world. And he didn't just, mention it in passing. He laid out this incredibly specific account. But here's the fascinating part. Plato never claimed to have invented the story. Actually, he wrote that it was passed down through generations. He said it originated from Egyptian priests who supposedly translated their records for the Greek lawmaker Solon, who then passed it down until it finally reached Plato himself. Literally everything we know about Atlantis originates right here in these specific texts. And listen, Plato wasn't describing some basic run-of-the-mill settlement here. He detailed an absolute economic and engineering powerhouse. He talked about these intricate, concentric rings of water and land, all connected by massive bridges and canals, so big that ships could sail right into the center of the city. We're talking about a civilization with unimaginable wealth. They supposedly traded in this mysterious, gleaming metal called orichalcum, which apparently flashed like literal fire on their temple walls. How cool is that? But really, above all else, they possessed unparalleled naval superiority. They had thousands of chariots, this massive fleet of ships, and that allowed them to project force and conquer surrounding lands all across the Mediterranean. Basically, Plato painted a very deliberate picture of a utopian society that, eventually succumbed to its own greed. But then comes the devastating turning point. Driven by hubris, the Atlanteans totally overreached. They attempted this massive, unprovoked invasion of Athens, and by doing so, they deeply angered the gods with their moral decline and just arrogant ambition. And the punishment? It was swift and it was absolute. In a sudden, violent cataclysm of earthquakes and huge floods, this entire powerhouse of a city sank straight into the sea in a single day and night of misfortune. Literally just like that, the greatest empire the ancient world had ever conceptualized was completely swallowed by the ocean. It left behind nothing but impassable mud shoals and this incredibly enduring legend that would go on to haunt humanity for millennia. Now, for a long time, centuries really, Plato's story was treated simply as an allegory, just a philosophical thought experiment, But as we pivot into the modern era, that's when the rigorous scientific hunt really begins. The big question becomes, can modern archaeology find a hidden reality buried inside the myth? We're essentially opening up the physical files here to see if the Earth itself holds any hard evidence. Today, researchers aren't just flipping through ancient texts anymore. They're out there utilizing advanced sonar, satellite imagery, deep-sea bathymetry, and remotely operated submersibles just scanning the ocean floor. We are literally applying 21st century forensic science to a 2,400-year-old missing persons report. It's wild. So we really have to impartially weigh both sides of this modern debate. On one hand, certain discoveries have fueled some incredibly compelling theories. For instance, a lot of archaeologists point to the massive Minoan eruption on the island of Thera, which is modern-day Santorini, around 1600 BC. This was a completely catastrophic volcanic event that wiped out the highly advanced Minoan civilization. Honestly, it could very easily be the real-life inspiration for a civilization-ending cataclysm. Other researchers point to striking geographical anomalies on land, like the Eye of the Sahara, also known as the ritual structure over in Mauritania. It's crazy because it almost perfectly matches Plato's specific measurements of those concentric rings. But on the flip side, strict geological science pushes back, and it pushes back hard. Modern plate tectonics tell us that massive continental landmasses simply do not sink into the ocean overnight. The Earth's crust just doesn't work like a giant trapdoor, right? So skeptics firmly argue that Plato was really just doing what he did best, crafting a brilliant, totally fictional allegory about the dangers of imperial overreach just to teach his students a lesson in morality and statecraft. So I'm putting you on the jury for this one. After hearing the ancient testimony and looking at the modern scientific cross-examination, where do you land? Was Atlantis a real civilization lost to time, just waiting somewhere down there in the dark depths to finally be discovered? Or was it simply the greatest legend ever told? Maybe it was just a philosophical cautionary tale that sort of escaped its creator and grew into this immortal myth. It's such a fascinating dichotomy, isn't it? This desperate search for hard physical evidence, constantly colliding with the totally unstoppable power of ancient mythology. And so the mystery continues. Because even today, with all of our amazing modern technology, our satellites, the advanced sonar mapping, those deep-sea submersibles, this historical cold case remains completely unsolved. And honestly, perhaps that is the true legacy of Atlantis. Whether it was a real place or purely imagined, the very idea of it continues to inspire us. It pushes us to search, to question, and to relentlessly explore the unknown depths of our own world. It's a great reminder that no matter how much we think we know about our planet, there are still vast, completely uncharted territories stubbornly holding on to their secrets. Which really leaves us with one final, kind of haunting thought. If an empire as incredibly mighty as Atlantis could literally be wiped from the face of the earth, leaving behind absolutely nothing but a story, what legends will the civilizations of the future tell about us? Will our towering cities eventually just become the myths of some other age? Something to think about. If you enjoyed this explainer, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more untold stories from history. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.